Good evening, and thank you for joining me. You're listening to TheMediaSpeaks Radio. I'm your host, DLAKE for PREZ. It's David Lake, and I'm reporting for TheMediaSpeaks.com. Tonight, I have a speech here, given by Obama, President Barack Obama, in front of the United Nations, dated September 25th, 2012. Tonight, it's October 26th, so a month ago. Well, I don't know, 2 weeks after the events of 9/11, 2012, September 11th, where U.S. Ambassador Christopher Stevens, 3 other Americans, were murdered, killed at the U.S. Embassy in Libya, in Benghazi. There's been a lot of news about Benghazi and the terrorist attacks and the body of lies. And if you go back and you watch some of my reports, and even more recent reports while I was compiling those older reports, where yours truly, DLAKE for PREZ, was calling out that this movie was a piece of garbage, it was a piece of junk. No one in Libya, and I doubt very many people in Egypt or whatever, but even in this speech 2 weeks after the events where Obama, he says that there was an attack, and this is when we were going with a spontaneous attack, and we talk about a video, and we reference that video to a video that insulted Prophet, Islam's Prophet, Muhammad. And this speech was in front of all those wonderful, magical people at the United Nations. And so there's a lot of talk about how we need to be like a new world order and all one world order. And the United Nations needs to be the peacekeepers. And President Obama didn't mention his peace prize in this speech anywhere. He also did not say the word terror, terrorists, or terrorism anywhere in this speech, which some people would condemn, but given the events, other people might cite that as missing. This whole speech has got applauses, and it's filled with colorful language. And I mean, if I ever have to give a speech in front of the United Nations, I am for sure going to quote Gandhi and probably Nelson Mandela. And alright, in front of the United Nations, for as the city outside these walls makes clear, that would be New York. We are a country that has welcomed people of every race and every faith. We are home to Muslims who worship across our country. We not only respect the freedom of religion, we have laws to protect individuals from being harmed because of how they look, what they believe. We understand why people take offense to this video because millions of our citizens are among them. And we know that because we went on to YouTube, and I'm sure the fact that on the 12th they're already blaming the video back in September, and the Drudge Report goes live with links that's like they're blaming the video. And I already told you, Drudge Report is just a big octopus that just grabs and snatches from everywhere. So they got the reports from other places. They just have a totally awesome RSS incoming algorithm that they, have their own branding and style of deciphering and telling you what's the top headline of the day. And, back then in September, it was this video. So it went from however many baby hits to millions of hits overnight, like Coney 2012. But the United States government had nothing to do with it. Obama says in this speech, here in the United States, countless publications provoke offense. Like me, the majority of Americans are Christian, and yet we do not ban blasphemy against our most sacred beliefs. As president of our country and commander-in-chief of our military, I accept that people are going to call me awful things every day, and I will always defend the right to do so. And another massive applause. Americans have fought and died around the globe to protect the right of people to express their views. Alright, that's great, you know, and he's, you know, I mean, he's trying to talk about the Constitution in there, and burning an American flag does nothing to provide a child an education. Attacking an embassy won't create a single job. I personally think some terrorists, they already had jobs. Their job was to kill the ambassador. They knew exactly where they were going. They set the fires, they rocket launched, and mission completed. Job well done. So attacking an embassy won't create a single job? I don't think that's true. That brand of politics, DLAKE, only makes it harder to achieve what we must do together, educating our children and creating opportunities that they deserve, protecting human rights and extending democracy's promise. Yeah, and this whole speech is peppered with democracy this and democracy that, and we're the policemen of the world, and you will not touch Israel. And one thing must be made clear: we love Israel, we'll bow down to them, do whatever they say, they'll do whatever we say. I don't know, we got such a great working, friendly, allied relationships, but we just do not like Iran. There's all kinds of Iran warnings in this speech as well, where he's talking about if they get it, it'll start an arms race in the Middle East, and everyone will want to have nukes. Well, pretty much everyone already has nukes, and that prompted me to ask the question, why does Iran have to build a nuke? And if you heard Governor Romney at the last debate, where he was talking about Iranians churning out uranium like it's butter, like their citizens are sitting around churning it, or, you know, they're in underground bases. And I've seen, you know, their DUMBs, their deep underground military bases, and they shielded it with massive metal plates and gigantic boulder rocks, and basically built, you know, a fortified compound underground that supposedly where they're making their uranium. And they're like, we need to get in there and test that, and if you break the treaty. And DLAKE's like, why does Iran even have to build a nuke? I mean, why can't they just buy one? Or, I mean, America gives weapons to people all the time. What if another country, like, say, China or Russia, decided, hey, you know what? You guys are so worried about them being 4 ways away from having one. What if we just gave them one? And you're like, DLAKE, are you advocating Russia or China or some other country to give them nukes? I mean, a small unit, if they were trained as efficient as the Navy SEALs, they could go in and steal a nuke. And it'd be just like a Hollywood movie. And, you know, don't let DLAKE be writing the next Tom Clancy novel up in here, but think about it. Why don't they buy a nuke? Why don't they steal a nuke? No, DLAKE, they have to make a nuke. Okay? That's why they need the underground bases, and they're churning out the uranium, and we need to get it to weapons grade, but we can't let anyone know what we're up to. Because our plan is to wipe other people off the map. And it's like, hey, if you're talking about wiping my bitch off the map, then I'm going to have to fuck you up. Alright. I had to say it that way. Maybe that's the only way to get you people on YouTube to think about anything, huh? Is that the fucking deal? You want some more cursing? Why don't you just grow up and read the news and check out what's going on in the world? And you know, once you can read all this double speak and UN talk, you start to see right through everything. I'm DLAKE for PREZ, reporting for TheMediaSpeaks.com. Have a good night. Peace.